What's up, y'all? We have an awesome video today. Today we're going to be talking about two specific things, and that is the Bassmaster Classic, which ended a week ago, and then we're going to talk about the Bass Pro Shops Spring Classic sale. So let's start off with the Bassmaster Classic. So first off, congratulations Dylan Nutt on an amazing win. You kicked butt. Now, I've seen a lot of people on different social medias absolutely taking shots at this kid, all because he used forward-facing sonar. First, forward-facing sonar is legal to use in Bassmaster. Now, they did implement a new rule this year to where it'd be 50-50 on when they would use that. In the Bassmaster Classic, you were able to use forward-facing sonar in it. Again, with forward-facing sonar, it doesn't magically catch fish. Yes, you can see them a lot better than if you're just sight fishing or using 2D or side scan, whatever, but it doesn't just magically make the fish bite. You still have to work for it, and he worked hard. This is a 22-year-old kid that just went in and absolutely kicked butt. So I'm not going to harp on it any further, but Dylan Nutt, incredible job. Congratulations. Now for the meat of this video, the Bass Pro Shops Spring Classic sale. I cannot talk this morning. I went in and got a bunch of new baits that I have laid out on this table in front of me that I'm going to try this year and hope to be able to catch some good fish on. In that process, I'm hoping to learn things about each bait and understand how they work and different ways to get them to make new actions that maybe entice good bites. Now, the goal in this whole entire channel is to teach and to show you guys what I learned so that maybe you guys can learn something new as well while giving you good fishing content. That being said, I realized my very first video, I never told you guys who I really was. I just kind of went in and started going. So the channel's name is Britannic Panic. I am Britannic Panic, or honestly just call me Bri. I started on Twitch as a video game streamer. That is what I kind of started on the social media trend with. I enjoy video games. I love video games, but my true passion has always been fishing ever since I was a kid. Now, I am newer to bass fishing. I grew up fishing for catfish and crappie and bluegill and such and so forth, but bass fishing became a giant part for me when I turned around 8 years old and I caught a 6.5 pound smallmouth bass in Table Rock Lake, and that got the bug going. Now, due to growing up and moving and all different things that happened in my life, unfortunately fishing went to the background and I didn't have necessarily time for or space to go and fish due to where I had to move to. And then I started fishing again and I remembered exactly what I loved about fishing, and now I'm back at it. So I am still newer to bass fishing. I'm still learning a tons, and I want to take you on that journey with me. So that's who I am. That's what this channel is about. So let's get into it. Our first bait category is swim baits and glide baits. Now, I do not have a swim bait or glide bait rod, but I do have rods that I think can handle pretty well as long as I downsize the baits. So our first two baits are going to be soft glide baits, and those would be the Berkley Nessie. So I got the 5-inch and the 7-inch. The 7-inch comes in at 1 ounce. The 5-inch comes in at 2/5 ounce. So I got the two sizes that I knew my rod could handle, low end and the high end. Now, I know these baits are modeled after a specific Japanese bait. I cannot remember that bait's name off the top of my head. I have watched videos of that bait moving through water. I think it was Mikey Balls that did that video comparing this to the Japanese bait it was kind of designed after. Let's be honest, we all know it's designed after. That Japanese bait works incredible. It's an amazing bait, and it S-waves through that water effortlessly, looks like a real fish. Here's the problem. It's like $60-something for a soft bait. I don't know about you, but I can't afford to pay $60 for one bait that's going to tear up after like 2 or 3 fish. So what was nice is these are on sale. I think they're in between like $5 to $10 a piece. They're on giant sale, so I went ahead and snagged them. I'm very excited. Now, I also think I saw on Alex Rudd's Instagram that they are going to, or it's either Instagram or YouTube, that they are going to be remaking the Nessie to have the same harness style as the Berkeley Chapo. If they do that, I will probably invest and get one of those just to try it out. I really like that harness. Speaking of the Berkeley Chapo, or Chop Block, not Chapo, sorry. Chop Block, I got one of those as well. And I got that in a 6-inch, and it comes in at 1 ounce. So, big difference between the Nessie and the Chop Block, from what I have seen, is the Nessie is supposed to make more of that S curve, that more true just swimming through the water glide, back and forth, back and forth. Chop Block is a little different. It's in the name, chop. So you're supposed to hit your reel as hard as you can, kind of chopping it, twitching that end of your rod, and it's going to make it jerk versus just a nice smooth S curve. I'm very excited to try this. The Nessie I got in burnt bone and in raw color, and the Chop Block I also got in burnt bone. I think those are going to be great colors to do. You can't really go with white or a black or a bone color, no matter where you're at. Next, let's go to the swim bait. I got the Berkeley Cull Shad in a 5-inch. It also comes in 7/10 ounce. Seen a lot of videos on this, specifically Alex Rudd. He absolutely smashes fish on the river with this. Now, I don't really go river fishing because I don't really have a good place for that, so I do a lot of bank fishing, and that's primarily what we're going to do on this channel. I'm hoping to get to go kayak fishing this year to try out some new styles of fishing and new fisheries that are around me that I can really only get to good spots via kayak. So that's the goal, and we'll try that out. Now, that is all for the soft swim and glide baits. Let's move to hard swim and glide baits. So there is a specific brand that is on sale that already makes pretty budget friendly hard glide and swim baits. It's Buka brand. I've heard of Buka brand plenty of times. They make incredible baits. Tactical Bassin loves their trick shad, specifically I believe in the 6-inch. And they've kind of looked into the new little baby bull shad, which is specific for BFS. Now, I decided to go ahead and invest. Now, I think they're like 50% off currently until March 25th. And so I wanted to try out a bunch of new hard glide and swim baits. So let's start off with the 5-inch bull shad. Now, this bull shad comes in a 1 ounce weight. This is a swim bait. It's a hard style swim bait. What I will say is what I like about Buka brand, at least most of these have this on the back. It tells you what type of line what pound of line they think would be best for it, what type of rod would be best for it, and what reel size would be best for it, and the ratio. Now, I do not have the rod they suggest. I do not have the line they suggest, nor do I have the reel they suggest. I'm going to make work what I have because I'm on a budget, and we're going to make it last. Now, the color I got this in, I believe, is called Thread Fantastic. Let me double check back. Yes, Thread Fantastic. So, I got most of these in like a glimmer bone or a pearl bone color, and I wanted something a little different for this size. I think this is going to work great. So it's mostly a white. It's got a little bit of yellow on there, a little bit of green, and then kind of like a purple back to it. I think that's going to do incredible for contrast, specifically with where I'm at. Now, I do still want to go back to where I grew up in Table Rock, and Table Rock is known that if you use a white underbelly, a chartreuse side, and a purple back, you're going to hit fish. And I think this will do great there. All right, next up is the 4-inch baby trick shad. I'm very excited about this because this is the 4-inch version of what Tactical Bassin absolutely loves. Now, it is more of a glide bait style, so it's going to give us that great S curve. We're going to really play that reel, really play that rod tip versus throwing it out and burning it in. It does come with a replaceable tail, so you get an extra tail with it. I'm going to be honest, I'm probably going to lose that very fast. I'm hoping I don't, but I probably will. So this comes in a 1/2 ounce size, so I think this will be an amazing, amazing bait. Next up, we have the baby bull shad in 3.75 inch, and it comes in at 0.5 ounce, so a half ounce as well. Again, this is a swim bait. I got this in a pearl bone color, so this is beautiful. It's got that very kind of pearlescently purple that shimmers through as the light catches it. It's got a little more of a dark dusty purple on the face while still having that beautiful white. Of course, this is a brush tail, just like its bigger version, and unlike the trick shad. Again, this is going to be more of that swim bait style, so we can chuck it, kind of burn it in. We can really play with it in multiple different ways. So this next one is kind of really the oddball out of the whole thing, and I really debated getting it, but we have so many panfish, bluegill kind of bait fish here that I really thought it might do well. Even though they didn't necessarily have the color I truly wanted at Bass Pro, I think this color will still do well. So next up is the 3.75 inch baby bull gill. So I think I got this in the ruby red color, and I think this will do great because it's got the normal like bluegill colors to it, but then it's got this little touch of red on the bottom that I think will do amazing here in the spring. Now, bringing up red in the spring, let's be honest, is the red because the fish are looking for forage that is red, or is it just because we're all throwing so much red baits in the spring that red's just getting hit more often? I don't know for sure, but jury's still out on the scientific side of it. Now, last but not least in the glide baits is the little baby bull shad in the 2.5 inch that also comes in 3/16 ounce. I got this in a glimmer bone, so it's not as pearlescent as the pearl bone. It's more of a matte white on the bottom with a purple back. Again, I think this color will do great, especially because that white, but then you have that purple for contrast. Now, this is meant as a BFS bait. I do not own anything that's BFS. BFS is too expensive for me to get into, even though I am kind of looking into, I believe it's the Kestrel by Casking. I think Casking makes incredible equipment for the price. I am looking into that. I probably won't ever get that anytime soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this on a spinning rod because I love a spinning rod. Spinning rod is great where I'm at because I live in the Midwest. It's the southern Midwest, but it's still the Midwest. And I think they'll still do great on a spinning. All right, let's take a quick break from the baits themselves, and let's go into two things that we're going to use for our videos. One thing is something I've never used before. The other thing I've used before, but I never owned. And this first thing, I made an investment. Now, I am a cheapskate. I love finding deals where I can and saving money where I can. But I wanted to bring you guys the best quality content I could. And I think this is something that's really going to add to that. So I made an investment. I've talked to you guys multiple times about having a scale on the channel, and so we can check the size of our fish. And I got the Bubba Scale Lite. Now, my only problem with this is this, to get all the best features for it, you have to have an app subscription through Bubba. And that is a little frustrating, especially since this is a $75 to $80 scale. I shouldn't have to have a subscription to get the best features for it. Now, we are going to mostly use this as just a straight up scale, but I'm hoping to eventually do some kind of kayak tournaments or do some tournaments as a co-angler, and I think this will do great even if I have to get the quote-unquote subscription, because I don't mind paying $5 a month to be able to have tournament mode. So I am going to use this in our next few videos, double check to see how well it works, one, if I need to get a refund, or if it truly holds up to the Bubba name like I've seen in a lot of its reviews. Now next is one thing that I think a lot of people are probably going to be like, what, really? You've never used this? I've never used this. Again, I am a cheap skate. I have always used cheap gear. I grew up very poor. So, I'm going to be trying out fluorocarbon. I have never used fluorocarbon. I've only ever used braid and monofilament, and even when I used braid and monofilament, I went to Walmart and bought the cheapest thing on the aisle. I've always been a giant proprietor of spider wire. Spider wire braid has always been my favorite because it's only braid I've really ever used, and I've never had an issue with it. Now, I know a lot of people don't like it because it's cheap and tends to break on them. Again, I've never had an issue with it. I tend to use 8-pound braid to an 8-pound mono leader, or I use straight 8-pound mono, depending on if it's on my bait caster or my spinning rod. Now, I think I have been running into a lot of line shy fish. In my very first video, I went to a place that is extremely heavy pressured. And I really think if I make a change to a thinner fluorocarbon style line, I might be able to entice more fish to bite, especially with a lot of these new baits that we're going to try out. So because I don't tend to go in a lot of heavy structure, I just went with 8-pound fluorocarbon. I just went ahead and matched my braid and the mono that I normally use. I went with the Seaguar Invisex. Now this is, I think, 50% off. It is still expensive. This was still $20 for 8-pound for 200 yards. To me, that's ridiculous. But compared to the options that were on the website, I think this was the best to go with. Your other options were the KVD XPS fluorocarbon, which I think was around $10 for 8 pounds. So half of what this was. There was also the new Berkeley Gin Clear, which was, I think, around $10 as well. There was also the, I believe it was the Suffix Advanced Fluorocarbon with Gel Coat. That was the other one I really looked into. It was $15 for 8-pound, I think also 200 yards. And I really almost went for that one. The reason why I went with Seaguar is because no matter the reviews I saw, Seaguar was always on top. Even Tactical Bassin really liked Seaguar. Now, they didn't talk about Invisex Seaguar, but it was Seaguar alone itself. Most of the reason why I went with Invisex is because of castability. Every other fluorocarbon I looked at didn't talk about castability. That was not on their agenda. It talked about abrasion resistance. It talked about how strong and invisible it was, this, that, and the other, but it didn't say it was soft enough to be easy casting. I am still learning bait casters. I'm still learning how to really finesse a lot of certain new baits. And I want something that's going to be easy casting. So that's why I went with the Seaguar Invisex, because it talks about easy casting. Now, let's go to the next bait category, and that's going to be topwater. So another investment that I made, and I'm still kicking myself for doing it because I'm sure I could eventually gotten on sale. Now, they do have it on sale if you are a club member at Bass Pro, but I got this at Shields in Tulsa because I was at Shields and, you know what, when in Rome. So here's what I got. I got the new Rapala Claptail Topwater. I am excited about this. I think this is a really cool and innovative design to a point. Now, in the musky world, they've had baits like this before. A tail that slaps around a blade to make a specific sound. Did it look exactly like this? No. Was it designed exactly like this? No. But we haven't seen really much like this in bass fishing in modern times. And I'm very excited to try this. I think it's going to be a great bait. And my biggest issue is, one, it comes in what I think it's 7/8 ounce. So it is a meaty thing. Let me double check packaging. I know it said somewhere on here. I don't remember where. There it is on top. Yeah, 7/8 ounce. That is a very heavy topwater, especially compared to what I usually throw. That's my only complaint, is that it comes in that size, at least from what I've seen. I got it in broken bone color, so it's got this nice kind of glossy bone with a red front on it with a little bit of green on the gills. I think this will be a great color. I think it'll do well. I'm very excited to see what it does. Now, the next two things I did, in fact, get at Bass Pro and on sale for, I believe, 25% off. I don't think they're quite 50. They might have been. We'll double check. First off is a Strike King Tri-Wing buzz bait. Now, I have used a buzz bait before, but I used a micro buzz by Jig Masters in collaboration with Andrew Hayes from Tackle Talk, and that was the Buzz Grub. I like the Buzz Grub a lot. It's a really tough wire, stout hooked micro buzz that you stick a like Mr. Twister grub on. It presents a completely new look that most bass haven't seen, and they absolutely love it. I'm excited to give that more of a try as we get into topwater season, because I haven't got much time to use it, but I've played around with it a bunch, and the action is wonderful, and I think it'll do incredible. So I have the Tri-Wing Buzz. It only comes in a 16th ounce. I got it in white because, again, really all you much need is a black or a white and a natural. And I think this white will do great. Next is the KVD Toad Buzz, and I got it in black. Give me that white, give me the black. There you go. So I'm excited to use this. I don't really have a good setup for a topwater frog, but I think I can pull this off very well, especially since it is in a 3/8 ounce. I throw a lot of 3/8 ounce anyways to try and get to the bottom. Now I'm trying to get to a more heavier style of baits as I go along, because I'm kind of starting to notice a lot of the fish around here aren't wanting to bite the smaller profiles. They're wanting either the big or to mid-range profiles, because we do a lot of finesse fishing around here. So I'm going to try out the Toad Buzz in black. Sticking with the bladed theme, but going to a bladed jig. Now, the first one I got is not necessarily on sale, but it's not a bad price for what it is, especially since its next category up is $20. Now, the original version of this bait is on sale for, I think, 20 or 30% off. Doesn't knock much money off the price because it's already so cheap, but it's still a discount. So I got the Chatterbait Evo Elite, or Elite Evo. The only Chatterbait I've ever used is the original, which is currently on sale for, like I said, 25 or 30% off. This one is not. It's still the full $10, but everything I've watched, everything I've seen talks about how the Chatterbait Elite Evo is just that good. And it's so good that a lot of people just barely choose the jackhammer over it, and that's just because they so much like a jackhammer. But it's a very minimal decision between the two. They would almost choose this because of the price and because of how good that action is over the jackhammer. So I'm going to give this a try. I didn't want to pay $20 for a jackhammer. I have no desire to, especially if this is just that good. Now I got this in that fire craw color. So we got the green pumpkin on top with that methylate on the bottom with the methylate blade. And I think this will do really well since we're going in spring. Now I'm going to kind of transition a little bit to kind of pair this with it. I got a soft plastic trailer, and that would be the Crush City Freeloader. And I believe this is the 4.5 inch. Yes, 4.25 inch, and I got this in the Fire Craw color. Now the Fire Craw color is that beautiful methylate, but it's got this darker top. It's not necessarily green, but it's a very more dark orange with that black flake, so it gives it that contrast that I think will go perfect with this Chatterbait Evo. Now I believe Crush City currently is on that 20% off sale. Some of the soft plastics you're going to see, I wish I had waited for that sale, but I didn't, unfortunately, because I didn't realize the sale was going on when I bought them. Anyways, I digress. So these are going to be paired up this year. Next, I'm only trying this out because it is made by Z-Man, and I have seen a few videos of it working pretty well. I wanted to try it out myself. My only problem is it is more expensive than an original Chatterbait, but it is still less expensive than an Evo. And that is the XPS Chatterbomb by Bass Pro Shops in collaboration with Z-Man. Now Z-Man makes this. It is very similar from when I compared them to the Evo. They are very similar. Head shapes are very similar. The biggest difference is this starts out a little thinner at the base, or I should say a little more narrow at the base, and comes out to a more broader head, where this is just a straight broad head from beginning to end. I'm going to test them out side by side, see which one I prefer. I'm going to guarantee I'm probably going to prefer this one, but I'm going to try this out. So I got it in a white because my normal Chatterbait I have in a green pumpkin with a gold blade. I've not gotten much hits on it. I really just think it's almost too subtle in its presentation, even with that gold blade. Or it could be the opposite. It could just be that gold blade's too flashy and they're not wanting to hit that. So I'm going to try it out with the white. This is a pale shad color specifically, so it's got a little bit of beige, it's got that white. To pair up with that, I got the Crush Steady Freeloader 4.25 inch, and I got this in albino pearl. So it's that white, but it's got that pearl in it that when the sun hits it just right, kind of gives it that purple flash. And I think that'll go incredible with this pale shad color. Now, the reason why I went with a pintail style trailer is because I've used things like Rage Cross, Rage Chunks. I used an Excite chunk in a cross shape, and I don't like the action. The claws do not run well behind that blade. They get caught up in the wake from that blade, and they do weird actions that just don't entice baits. It makes the chatterbait run funky. So I wanted that pintail. I've seen a lot of people use a brand called Hog Farmer. I don't really have Hog Farmer near me, so I'll probably have to try that at some point, but I'll have to order it. This was the next best thing. I love Crush City baits already, and these were made by Jacob Wheeler as a chatterbait trailer originally. That's kind of what he designed them for, as a bladed jig trailer. So I'm going to try it out. It's very similar to the shape of a Hog Farmer. I think it'll do fantastic on the back of those baits. Now let's switch completely over to soft plastics. Now my number one confident bait is a Ned rig. I use Ned rigs constantly. I think they work fantastic. I've never had issues with them other than them getting snagged all the time. So, both of these I got from Shields and not on sale. They're actually, the next two types of baits out of the next three I got at Shields. But, one of them I got an incredible price on. So first, let's start with one I got an incredible price on. And that is just a Ned BLT by Crush City. Now, I've only ever really used the watermelon red color. I tried the, I believe it's the Bama Craw. It worked good too. That watermelon red's still my confidence color. And I've also got it in Morning Dawn, which I haven't had much of a chance to use yet. Now, this black, on the other hand, I think it's going to work fantastic as a whole new presentation. Now, what's fantastic about it is this is normally a $6 pack. Shields had it on clearance for $3, so I got a half off. I couldn't pass that opportunity up. To go along with that, I have searched for this particular bait for a very long time. This is a brand new bait that they came out with at ICAST last year that I think is going to do fantastic, all because of that spade-like tail. I think that tail is really going to grab some water as it goes down and really give an extra fluttering action that the Ned BLT doesn't do. I think it's going to give just a little more action to really change up that presentation compared to anything else out there. Now I went with my confidence color in it in a watermelon red because that's just what really works for me around where I'm at. I am very excited to use this. This one, unfortunately, I spent full price on because I got it at Shields. Next, again, got these two at Shields, but one I got a fantastic price on. So let's start with that one. The one I got a fantastic price on is this Crush City Janitor. Now, I love me a shaky head, and I think this will do incredible on a shaky head. I'm also going to try it Nico rig. But this is the perch color. So it's got kind of this clear beige on the bottom. It comes to a green pumpkin on top. That beige has got like a copper flake in it, while the green pumpkin has like a kind of bright green, gold, and a black, almost like a Mardi Gras color on that top. I think this will do fantastic where I'm at. Now this is usually $6.50 a pack, and I got it for $4. Not quite half off, but close. I think this will do fantastic where I'm at due to our bluegill colors around here. I'm excited to put it on a shaky head. Again, going with the Janitor because I've been wanting to try them. I wish I had waited for the sale, but I got it in watermelon red. It's my confidence color. Now, last but not least, in our entire video for baits, is what I got on sale soft plastic wise. And that is Yum Thumpin' Dingers. Now, I've been wanting to try Ultra Vibe Speed Worms by Zoom. Ultra Vibe Speed Worms, unfortunately, were not on sale. So I wanted to try something that was somewhat similar that was on sale. And you can't go wrong with a good pack of Yums. Yums already is one of the best cheap options you can get. It's like $4 or $3 a pack already. You get, I think this one has 10 in it. So $4 for like 10 is insane, especially because I'm usually buying Yamamoto Senkos because they're my favorite Senko. And I think they're $8 or $9 for 6 if not 5. You get 10 for $4, and I got these for under $3 a pack because of the sale they were on. So what I did is I got it in 2 different colors. I got it in a watermelon red because it's, again, confidence color, and it works wonders where I'm at. Now I'm going to go with a little bit different of a color. I'm going to go with this red bug. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to hook this on an EWG hook or a worm hook and swim it. I'm going to do it weightless. I might try it Texas rigged, but I think I'm just going to do it weightless, and I'm just going to suddenly swim it through the water. I think this will do great. Well, that is everything that we are going to try out this year that I got on sale at the Bass Pro Shops Spring Classic sale that ends on March 25th. Now, I'm only bringing this to you. I'm not sponsored by Bass Pro in any ways. I just want you guys to save money where you can and be able to try new things. We are always learning as anglers to try out different things and figure out what fish truly like and truly want, especially as there are more and more anglers joining the sport every year and trying and catching fish. We're creating more pressured areas and spots. I think these will do great, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please leave a comment. I always try and comment back, or at least like your comments when I have the time. I hope you guys have an amazing day.